Welcome back to the shed. I'm wearing my carving glove. Does that mean we're doing carving today? No, I'm covering up a bit of a bandsaw injury. It's okay, I'm alright. I didn't even need stitches, but it is pretty grim to look at. We all know that when you're using the bandsaw, rule number 1 is keep your fingers away from this line, because that's a direct path to the blade. And at the time of my accident, that process was in force. The wood that I was cutting had been kiln dried quite aggressively, and cracks at the end were visible. But what wasn't visible, however, were the internal splits that had created air pockets inside the wood. As the blade passed through the wood, it found the air pocket, and the wood jumped forward, pulling my thumb into the path of the blade. Ouch! This log looks pretty normal, right? Well, what's inside that log? A big old air pocket. I'd like to continue using my bandsaw, and for my own peace of mind, I'm going to make some push blocks. I'm also going to make those push blocks on the bandsaw, because if you fall off the horse, you get back on, right? These push blocks are quite simple. We only need to cut a few squares, and this bit of plywood should be enough. But to be on the safe side, let's use the Cut List Optimizer app, and I'll try to film it properly this time. The plywood measures 445mm long and 240mm wide, and that is added to the stock sheet section. The panel measurements can be added, and we need 2 of each of those. When we tap calculate, we can see that we've done an excellent job selecting our plywood. Well done, everyone! We're on the bandsaw now to cut this lot out. Look at that, it's 8 squares. Well, some of them are rectangles, but these 2 aren't going to stay square. And neither are these 2. The first 2 are going to become handles, sort of like that. We're back on the bandsaw, cutting to the pen lines. That's the handles taken care of. These squares that aren't going to remain square need our attention next. A simple curve has been drawn and the cutting is happening on the bandsaw. Exciting stuff. The components are cut to size and we can move over to the assembly bench for the assembly. I like to use super glue as a clamp before adding screws for a more permanent fixing. This last square is the part of the block that does the pushing, and the amount of overhang to use is up to you. I'm setting mine to about 20mm. Look at that, it's a pair of push blocks. Let's take them for a test drive. Well, they work even better than I thought they would, but they do look a little bit ugly. Now they look a little bit red. If I run into any more internal cracks, my fingers will be safe, thanks to these push blocks. I'm really happy with how these push blocks came out. It's going to make using the bandsaw a hell of a lot safer. Just think of the things I can push through it now. Not my fingers, for one. I'll talk to you next time.